Hello, everybody. I am Heidi Esther, a joyful purpose mentor and storyteller and mama, and I am here today to talk about disappointment. Yep, disappointment happens. But why am I here for real? Well, I am here to help you overcome all of those blocks that are keeping you from stepping into your joyful purpose, that flow and that purpose and that fulfillment that is so integral into living your best life and your shiniest self. Yes, it is possible. We have joy blocks. There's life and it happens. There's like guilt and regret and being like so crazy busy. There's all of these blocks. And I've lived through, I'll say almost all of them. So today I want to talk about disappointment. And I first want to apologize. It might sound like I'm pretty stuffed up. So I've been a little ill lately, and it is allergy season for me. Yay! So, um, please bear with me in my congestion. It's just that time of the year. So I'm going to work through a story and then I'm going to work through the steps that I work through to move through or unravel, I will say, the great ball of disappointment. So, all right. Are you ready? So, first, before the story, I would love to know, and you can either make a comment or reach out to me on any of my platforms, letting me know how you are and how you are taking care of yourself today. I would love to know if this resonated with you, if disappointment is something that you experience as a person. Um, so I have a lot of experience in it, and I'm in a good place with it. I will just say that. I don't wanna have a spoiler alert or anything. So, um, alright, so today, I am taking care of, myself, I took a walk with my dogs today. I haven't been feeling well lately. I haven't been outside a lot, and so I am taking I took a walk, with my dogs before this. So I apologize in advance if there's any barking noise in the background. They are both passed out right now. I didn't even have to give them a chewy bone. So, um, so that is what's going on. So, all right. And if you have any questions, if you're watching this live or in the replay, just put them in the chat below, or you can always reach out to me at howdy@HeidiEsther.com, and I would love to help you out with if you have a challenge around having a lot of disappointment. So, all right. So let's get to the story. I call it Great Balls of Disappointment. I sat there at my desk, my piece of paper hot from the printer in my hands. I am so excited. It's December 2020, and I've decided I'm going to write a book. Here's a little portion from the sheet in my hands. It's my vision statement. With my new book in hand, my steps into the unknown are more sure-footed. I feel blessed that my fiery hope is in the world. My writing is funnier, grittier, and more effective on my blog. HeidiEsther.com gets to 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2021. I get to do a few funny interviews too. And I have a small group of trusted friends and fellow committed, passionate writers who I can support and also lean on. Fast forward a year and a half later, my book is published. Now, I know that on the vision statement I said I had a blog, but in a year and a half, I also have a vlog and a pod. So 4 months after I publish, this mama needs a break. And it's summer after all. So I've decided I'm going to take a break. I envision this break with long, languid days of writing. And, well, why write on my break? Well, when you're a writer or creative, you know that that's just what you do. And second, when you get really busy in your business, you end up not being creative as much, which is weird. So, anyway, so I envision all these days writing and connecting with my family and sleeping in and eating really good vegan food like these nuggies that taste just like chicken nuggets. Oh my God, if you want the recipe, they're made from tofu. They're totally delicious. So I decided to take a couple months off from all the vlog and the pod and the blog and everything. And I have enough extra content that I can almost bridge that gap anyway. So I set everything up. I turn my out of office on, start my break. 2 days later, I'm in Minnesota with my family of origin. So I spend the next days like reconnecting with them in this nice house on a lake, watching like tree frogs and ducks and eagle, and not catching quite as many fish as I'd like, but that's okay. I do try writing, but I'm staying up really late, so it's not really working the whole writing thing. But that's okay. Afterwards, I come home and look forward to a few days at home, riding on my porch swing, watching birds on the bird feeder, fully protected from like mosquito haven, with my lightweight hoodie and my sprayed yard and all that stuff. But something else happens. My teenage daughter comes home with the COVID. So she's in her room. She doesn't really have a whole lot of symptoms, but she is really distraught in there. So I try my best to provide her meals and emotional support. I mean, really, I don't even understand why she was really upset in there because by the looks of the piles of dishes in there on a normal basis, she pretty much lives in her own. So I also have to do all the packing for vacation. So between the packing and the caretaking, there's no time for writing. But that's what my annual family vacation is for, which is also part of my break. All of my hopes and dreams for that family vacation are poured into the next 7 days in a little town on the east coast of Michigan on Lake Huron. The place we rented is like only a few blocks from the beach. So my plan is get up early, watch the sunrise, write, and then spend the afternoon and evenings with my family. What really happened was, let's just say, it was kind of like the way there. Imagine 4 people in an SUV on the highway, windows down, N95 masks. And then we get to the place, and let's just say it did not live up to its online reputation. I mean, I'm no diva. We made the most of it. We managed some ants, and we brought some fans, some kitchenware, and a mattress pad. We did all the pivoting to make it work. We just didn't end up doing much connecting, and I did no writing. So that was July. And then there's August, home from vacation. Kids go back to dad's house for some more summertime. But you know what I decided to do? I don't feel like writing. I clean. I clean all this stuff that normally I don't clean. Like the freezer needs cleaning out and defrosting. And the garage totally needs reorganizing if I'm going to have a car in there in the winter. And I have this pantry shelf that's like so gross. So I decided to like clean it and repaint it. I feel pretty good after that week, even though the cleaning week was my birthday week. Huh. Like I really actually accomplished something. So the next week, I pluck up the courage to start writing my crappy draft. If you're not a writer or an artist, that's the only way I really find to get back into writing without having all that judginess in my head. It's just saying, you know what? Just start doing it and saying it's going to be crappy and I'll fix it later. So I write for a couple days. I talk with friends. Yeah, I write on the porch swing. I start my laps again at the local pool. I got my book on the shelves at a local bookstore even. More on that later. And also, if you want to look it up, it's at the Literary in Champaign. So I'm feeling really good. So after those few days, my wife gets COVID. And I know because I slept with her while she felt feverish the night before, it's only a matter of time for me. Totally tick, tick, boom. So I cook like a beast. 2 days later, I get COVID. I mean, honestly, it was the best way for this Enneagram 2 mama to get COVID, right? My wife and I trapped in a bedroom for 5 days. No, not as romantic as you're thinking, unless you think Kleenex, coughing, fevers, body aches, and tapioca are sexy, then by all means. So 6 days into my COVID, I feel funny. Like, not COVID funny, because that's a whole other category of funny. I feel like I don't wanna be around anybody anymore. I feel like crap, like, on the inside. I am one snarky, resentful mama, but I hold my tongue because, I'm a kind person and I don't wanna regret something. So 2 days later, I wake up, my wife goes back to work, my teens go to school. All of that bottled up tension and, like, snarkiness and funniness comes out in tears. I cry all day. I know, exhausting. But during a pause in my crying, all I can think is, like, my goals. Remember that vision from my book? Like, that 1,000 people? In my summer? All of that? All of those have been one great big ball of disappointment. So the next day, I'm just sad. I feel, like, heavy and just like a big, lumpy sack of potatoes. I'm wondering, like, what's the point of anything? If I can't have fun or at fun or at work, what is the point of everything if everything ends up in this, like, giant ball of disappointment? So 2 days later, I'm calmer, though I am still sick with COVID. I wake up with this vision of me pared down to the bone. It's like a skeleton me, but I know what I have to do. All righty. So that is my story called The Great Balls of Disappointment. It was probably like a great ball of disappointment, but it was like many different balls. There was like the summer ball and like the work ball, and then I had this COVID, um, probably a COVID ball of disappointment. I didn't even go into that, but yeah, I felt like I was so healthy. So um I didn't understand why I got COVID so harshly. I mean, I didn't go to the hospital, knock on wood, but I thought it wouldn't be that bad. So, anyway, love to know if you can relate to the story of disappointment. Okay, so let's unravel this disappointment situation. Okay, so these are the steps that I kind of went through. I ended up doing a little bit of research about what kinds of disappointment are there, because I felt that my disappointment was just kind of like a big, like octopusy kind of thing. So yeah, so I did have that input in here. So here we go. How to unravel it. First, you got to be judgy free. You got to just feel your feelings. Just feel that disappointment. Be in a safe place, let them out, go punch a wall, go take a walk. A lot of people exercise, like they'll do like a nice cardio workout. If I didn't have COVID, I would have probably gone and swam. Um, so that's what you gotta do. Just get it out. Be judgy free, let it out. The feelings are always, always best out rather than in, because when we start repressing one feeling, we start repressing all the feelings. And you know what? One of those feelings is joy. So we don't want to repress our opportunities for joy. So we gotta let our feelings out. It doesn't mean that we need to act on them or on other people. It just means getting them out in a safe way. Okay. And so the second thing I talk about a lot in the Peeling Your Onion course, and you can go HeidiEsther.com/peeling your onion, is engaging pieces of your resilient mindset. So specifically, curiosity, patience, and compassion. Feelings have their own ebbs and flows. We can't necessarily control, like, okay, I have like 15 minutes to feel this feeling. Let's get a move on here. So, um, so we got to have that patience and curiosity. Curiosity is so critical because it keeps our judgy pants at bay. It keeps us wearing, this is something else we talked about in the peeling your onion. It keeps us our practice shoes on. So it keeps us from labeling things as good or bad and just saying like, this is all practice for something else. And I'm going to walk forward with an open mind and see where this goes. So curiosity is so important, and compassion. When we have and experience these heavy emotions, these big joy blocking emotions, we need to give our they take a lot of energy, and two, they can take a lot of time. And so we need to kind of get in the seat of mothering ourselves and parenting ourselves, and giving ourselves that compassion and grace that, if we're lucky, was extended to us in our childhood. So that is so important. All right, so compassion, patience, curiosity. Okay, so having those in mind after you've gone through the big wave of the feeling, then get out your journal. Then, and write out kind of like what your experience is, and is with, or has been with, feeling that disappointment. And if you're not a big journaling person, you can do any kind of visual arts to express this. Or if you're like me and you're a verbal processor, you can talk it over with a trusted friend or a therapist, just to get somebody else's perspective to balance out how, what your experience has been, to, kind of see things from another angle of the Rubik's cube, so to speak. And that's really important. So when I did my journaling, I do quite a bit of journaling when I have a big emotion. I also did talk to for a couple friends to get a couple different perspectives on my disappointment and everything that went into that. So you can, first talk about what you're disappointed about, and then practice getting into a place like, this is where the compassion and the curiosity, like accepting what happens, like, this is just what happened. Release your shoulda, woulda, couldas. A lot of times, disappointment and regret, they kind of come at us like boom, both together. And so you want to remove the regret from it. Remove any things that you're kind of beating yourself up, because that is gonna, if once you remove that judgment, remove that regret, you're gonna be able to understand what you need to do in the future for disappointment, and you can heal your regret. So I have a freedom shower of no regret, and I will put the link in the notes. And I also have the I Live Life in No Regrets workshop that goes through all the different steps. So I will put those in the notes. So if you're harboring a lot of regret over something that gave you also disappointment, so get rid of the two-edged sword. And so work with your regrets. And that's kind of like an internal process, and heal that. Okay. So now there's three different kinds of disappointment. Um, I thought there was two. I identified two in my gray ball of disappointment. So there's disappointment in where you are isn't where you want it to be. So your expectations were not met. Or you could have disappointment where you are isn't is was supposed to feel really great, but it doesn't. So, kind of like my vacation. It's supposed to feel great, but it didn't. So, what's up with that? Um, and the third is, you got triggered and are reliving a disappointment from a childhood. So it's actually, your present isn't that bad, but it's triggering something that hasn't yet healed in your past. And so you're kind of reliving this past loop. So you'll have to go into, I don't talk I'm not talking about that here today, but The solution in that instance is to heal your past. So I'm going to be talking about the first two. So when your expectations aren't met, you're disappointed because expectations aren't met, or where you are supposed to feel great, but it ends up not feeling great. So, all right. So now I want to think about this is kind of what happened. So after a couple days, I used patience and I took care of myself. And over a couple days later, I woke up with this vision in my head of um, like being a skeleton me. Like it was just me, but I was like a skeleton. I was just kind of like laying on this like lazy chair, easy lazy boy, and I was just all bones. And so what that told me is it showed me the lesson that I needed to learn. Disappointment can be a teacher. Disappointment is not meant to keep you smushed down where you're just going to kind of go hide away in a cave. So you can go hide away in a cave and do your journaling, talk to other people, um, mother yourself, be compassionate, give yourself patience and curiosity. But disappointment is a teacher. It's kind of like anger um in its intensity of teaching, in the intensity of emotion. Disappointment is I think no less, beastie of a feeling than anger. So so once you get to a place, be open. What is the lesson that you need to learn? Now, you didn't deserve it. This is just what the universe decided. All right, this is your next step. This is your next step on your journey, either in your professional life or your personal life or your spiritual life. What lesson do you need to learn to become a happier, more fulfilled, more aligned, higher self? So, what can you learn about yourself from your disappointment? What might you need to work on? What might you need to let go? What do you need to heal? And, here is something odd. So, a lot of times when we are disappointed in a certain outcome, I have felt the disappointment of I should be feeling great, but I don't feel great at all. And I have this accomplishment, but so what? So maybe you need to practice, maybe you need to practice being proud of yourself and celebrating yourself and taking a break. So so those are the lessons. So you gotta kind of dig into with gentle, compassionate curiosity. Dig into the lessons that the universe could be showing you, that God, your higher power, could be showing you through this. So once you understand the lesson, you get some time to sit with it and you can kind of, it's like you're looking at that Rubik's Cube, right? From another angle. So you have the angle from your friend, and by you being able to see the lesson, you're able to see it at another angle. And when you are grateful for the lesson that your disappointment gave you, then you know you have completed the disappointment circle. So that's like the woohoo, that's the end. However, I do want to talk about expectations. And I have a little thing about on like the sales of expectation. So I thought about this a lot. Like, should I just abandon my expectations and run for the hills? So here's the deal. We can have goals. We can have those like solid goals for our work in our business, and we can make plans to get to those goals. A lot of times, what we don't write down is what our expectations are. Those are more internal. And so, what you need to manage here is your goals, and a lot of times goals are outside of us. They're outside of our control. So you got to think about what is in your control in your goals. What are my expectations of myself in this goal? Or what are my expectations? And you got to really do an audit, a controlled audit. Like what really is in your what's in your control, what's not in your control. So what's not in your control, you can't have an expectation of getting to that if it's not 100% in your control. Like you could have a goal of eating cereal for breakfast. You can go to the store, you can buy the cereal, you can get the almond milk, you can buy the blueberries, and you can have that. But if you're uh if your goal is to eat like guava fruit with your cereal for breakfast and there's not any locally, and then you sit down at breakfast and then you go to the store and you don't find it and you're disappointed, like, so you're not going to meet your goal. But because maybe you can't find it online, or like, it's not at the store, so you got to adjust your goals. What is in your control and what is not in your control. So we hold on so loosely. I say let go of what's not in your control, because it's going to drive you crazy. It's like you're trying to drive somebody's car from your car. It's not in your control. And so it's hard. So, like with my business, my goal was getting to that 1,000 subscribers. But was that all in my control? No, I can only control the inputs. So by holding loosely on our expectations, what we can do is end up focusing more on ourselves. We can look at our goals and say, all right, this is the goal I want. It may or may not be in my control, but this is my goal. What you can control is your inputs, right? You can control the steps you take. You can control trying your best. You can control giving yourself grace. You can control getting back up again when things don't work out. That's stuff that you can control. So that stuff. Um, and so the more that you do that and the more you get to know yourself and your capabilities better, like in my Peeling Your Onion course, you get to know who you are on the different layers. You can better adjust like your inputs. You can adjust. And so that also adjusts your expectations as well, so that you can kind of match your inputs to saying, all right, so this input, maybe I should expect this. And so but holding on loosely to all this, you have the goals, you go for it, hold on loosely to your expectations. You'll get better at pivoting to meet your expectations and to meet your goals, because you'll get better at being you and at knowing what will hit that happy mark for you. All right. I know that's a lot, and I would love to know what you think of disappointment and the different steps. I'd love to know if you take some of the different steps in terms of how to unravel disappointment to get to a place of gratitude. So, quick recap is kind of make sure you feel your feelings, get your resilient mindset, bring that with you: compassion, patience, curiosity. Journal it and talk it out, or talk it out with someone else to get perspective, and practice getting to acceptance of what happened. So, and then release your regret. If you have some regret, release it. There's Freedom Shower of No Regret. It's like HeidiEsther.com/freebies. You can find that there, or you can watch on YouTube Live Life with No Regrets workshop. And then figure out what kind of disappointment you have. If you have where you are isn't where you want it to be, you got to take a hard look at your goals and your expectations, what is in and out of your control, and then match that to, figure out and, work on what is in your control, your mindset, trying your best, taking the, courageous steps forward, and pivoting. Not it's like doing all your homework and your goal is getting an A, but you're just doing your homework, right? You're not the teacher. You don't get to assign the grade. The second kind of disappointment is where you are supposed to feel great, but it doesn't. So you could um, you got to get to know yourself a little better so that you know what is going to be more fulfilling for you. So peeling your onion course will help you look at the layers of you and make sure that those are aligned and you're not just hitting like the outer layers, like the accomplishments and everything and being good citizen, but also hitting your inner layers so that you feel more fulfilled in your heart and your soul and your spiritual life. Or you could honestly not know how to be proud of yourself. I'm doing some work around this right now and need to practice being proud of yourself and your past self. Another disappointment is you got triggered. So you're reliving a disappointment, that exact feeling from your childhood over and over. So my solution would be like maybe work with a therapist and try to work on healing and forgiving and loving your past self and working with all the emotions that come up when you get that trigger in the present. So and after figuring out what kind of disappointments, like, give yourself some time, give yourself some grace. Ask open-ended questions like, what lesson is here for me to learn? What does this say about me? What could be more fulfilling for me? What do I need to work on? What does this mean? What do I need to let go? What could I need to heal? What do I need to practice being proud of myself for? So once you understand the lesson and you go through that, um, practice being grateful for having had that knowledge to get closer to that shinier, more joyful purpose that you, the universe, God, higher power has given you. All right. Well, that is all I have for you today. I would absolutely love to know what you thought. You can always reach out to me at HeidiEsther.com. And a couple of the resilient mindset and the layers of you can find more information about the next Peeling Your Onion course. It's a live mentoring course, and it's juicy and great and fun and coloring, and you talk out parts of your story. We go through resilient mindset, how to find the right kind of support to move you forward in your life, how to tackle feelings in general. It's called the Feelings Parfait, how to eat your feelings and accept them, and looking at all of the amazing layers of you. All right. And someone noted, great way to tackle disappointment, work through it. Yeah, that's we're all given one life. So why live it stuck in these emotions? Why not learn from them so we can continue to grow and be happier, more productive selves? That's what I say. All right. Sending you love, light, and laughter. Until next time, I'm Heidi Esther.